Oof, baby. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, my people, and hello, well, anybody else who may one day become my people. Okay. And you can interpret that whichever way you like. All right. I hope you're all doing well. And if you don't know me, because I don't always introduce myself, but hey, if you don't know me, this is Lily, and you are listening to Femme Trans Noire. Let's say it with the yeah, not the French way, but the Femme Trans Noire, and that would be Black trans woman is really in the title, like literally. um, and this is a podcast where I get to sit down and pour my thoughts out for a few minutes, and it's every other week. So every other week on Sundays. So come subscribe. And today we're actually going to talk about something that comes up a lot when online, in conversations with people who maybe don't know much about transness, and especially about trans women, because trans women tend to be the focus of those conversations. And it's misogyny. But we are not going to tackle that subject the way TERFs do, because we don't support that over here. We are going to talk about cis-het men who date trans women and misogyny. Just stay tuned. We're going to have that conversation, and it's not going to be super long, but maybe it can start conversations with you and your friends. It can start conversations with maybe not at work, because polarizing thoughts, you never know. But hey, maybe work actually is a place where this type of conversation is needed. However, that shows up for you in your life, do with it what you will, do with it what you can, and let me know. And I want to hear what you have to say. But before we get into that, let's talk about some updates. And the updates have to do with more writing. Hey, surprise, surprise. I was just yesterday, actually, I was participating in a contest. It was a live one, and we had like 24 hours to come up with a 100-word story based on an action that was required and a word that needed to be inserted in there, and all of that within a genre. So yeah, full story in 100 words, and that was super fun. I learned so much. I would also I have a question, and maybe anyone who's a trans person, especially a trans woman over the age of 40, who has some tips. I want to know what y'all do in terms of workouts and things like that, because I want to get back into into working out, into having a physical activity that is I don't know, it feels rewarding, but at the same time it's so hard to get into. I don't know. I'm sure you know what I mean, but it's hard to explain because it makes no sense whatsoever. Like, it feels good. Like once you worked out, whatever it is. I prefer like dense stuff because it doesn't really feel like a workout. I'm half lying because it burns, but because it's fun, it's more than just it's not it's not leg day, arm day. Well, actually, yes, because it does focus on, it can focus on body parts, but it's a full body thing. Like even when it's the big focus is the abs or the legs or anything, you still get to move your entire body, and especially the way you do it is like with music. So yeah, it's different, and I really appreciate that. Now, no, even knowing that it's fun, I still have a hard time. Like, okay, I'm gonna do it. Okay, yeah, maybe next week, or maybe oh no, but I need a little more. I don't like that. I want to be able to go back to it. So I want to know what you do, what works for you, and how you motivate yourself. I'd really love to know because I need a little bit of encouragement. Yeah, because I know, like, I really know that once I do it, I feel so much better. Like, I'm having, like, as I'm talking now, I'm having like flashbacks and I'm going back to some workouts where I was just having a lot of fun. Also, because there's this little thing, called HRT, and it affects the body, and there's age. And we don't have a lot of studies regarding, trans women who've been on HRT for a long time and how they age, and, compared to other women, cis women who don't have HRT. So, you know what? I was gonna set it up like some 70s groovy type of music, like wow wow, baby, Um, but it's kind of late and the podcast is going out today, so we don't have time for that. So we're gonna be straight with it. Baby, do you have coins or not? Do you? Because if you do, I'll take it. You can go to ftnpod.com and you'll see the donate button at the top. Donate, Patreon, you have both. Um, and if you want to donate like a one-time donation, you just enter the amount that you want to give, and yeah, and I'll be super thankful, super grateful for that. You can also join Patreon, and that's a more regular type of thing because it's a subscription basically, and it starts at $2, just $2, baby. And yeah, you can support every month. And if you don't want to do that, or you just can't do that, you really want to, but you can't because life is hard, that's understandable. But there's stuff that you can do for me. You can share this; it's for free. You can, send a link to a friend. It's like two taps on your phone, and you can leave a review, a 5-star review, right? And yeah, all of that good stuff. You already know. Share, comment, subscribe, all of that stuff. All the stuff that makes the algorithm say, hey, somebody likes this. Hey, somebody finds this interesting. Let's show it to more people. All right. Yeah, so please do the free stuff. And if you can, I mean, I'll definitely accept the monetary help as well. Yeah, I promise you. I really thought I was gonna like be in and out and record this real quick because it's not a really complicated topic, and I just have some thoughts I really wanted to share. But I have demons who live in my vicinity. At least that's where they want to hang out, and they've been making a lot of noise with their bikes. They're unbridled, and I don't know. It may be just another guy thing, another substitute for masculinity, like can you hear how my thing, is loud? And they could absolutely do that stuff like far away from the center. But they choose to do it in the center because I believe that's for attention. But yeah, anyway, the male stuff, the parades keep changing and they're still useless. It's I don't know. I don't get it. But anyway, I don't want to lose myself in that. I've recorded like I don't know how many times, and the problem is my attention span. So, let's talk about the main topic, which is cis-het men and well, more specifically, cis-het men who are misogynistic and who find themselves in relationships with trans women. And when I say find themselves, they seek trans women for misogynistic reasons. Now, what does that mean? Are you going to say, like, girl, what? Like, are you trying to say that these men are misogynistic because they don't actually like women and what they want is men and that's why they choose trans women? No. That is not at all what I'm saying. That would be a transphobic, very turfy type of argument, and we're not going there. But here's what I actually want to say about that. So there's this idea that being misogynistic for men is actually like what I hear a lot is people who want to say that these men don't actually like women in the sense that they're not attracted to women and that what they want is men. And that's actually not only is it ridiculous, but it's a misogynistic argument because this attempt at painting them as gay is a way to say, hey, you're not really a man. Your masculinity is not really up there. You are down there and you are closer to femininity than you should be. And that is like in itself a misogynistic argument because that places masculinity on a pedestal and places femininity as the opposite, which is, down there in the gutter somewhere. So, no, misogynistic men can absolutely and are often sexually attracted to women, whether that's cis women or trans women or both. Actually, usually people who are attracted to trans women are attracted to cis women, but that's usually, there are exceptions and there are niches, and we're finding about that more and more. But that's another story. So these misogynistic men who seek trans women, often you hear them come up with an argument that maybe they think is original, but it's really not. And if that's you listening to this and you find yourself like in the crossfire of me and with this argument, please take a moment and reflect on that. I think it would be beneficial, not only for yourself, just as a person reflecting on your own identity, but it would also be positive for your relationships, whether they are with cis women or trans women. So this argument is, well, I like trans women better because y'all are more feminine than cis women. And let's be real, they usually say real women. Another layer of problematic views here, but yeah. So when they say that, usually what they're referring to is, the makeup. It's the gender performance in a way that is of service to them. So whether it's, you know, the attitude around the house that is more in line with what is expected of a woman, you know, or um, or in terms of, like I said, aesthetics, and why I do still view that as service is because it is related to, well, to sexuality, as in it's really like how the woman turns him on. I mean, really, let's just say it like that. So that also is a form of service. So why is it a problem? Um, like, is it that men don't have the right to have preferences in terms of the physique or the aesthetics, or whatever the person does, the person that they with does, as in um, shaving their legs, maybe more often, um, having lingerie, wearing more makeup, or it's usually around that type of stuff, and it's really the type of stuff that is around male arousal. um, am I saying that men don't have the right to have these preferences? No, no, I mean, why not? But the problem is this reduction of femininity, and I don't know if I could say this reduction of womanhood, because it usually goes together when people talk about it. Um, but it's this reduction, and again to the realm of service, that of service and what's in it for me. Not only what's in it for me, but also um, the the word escapes me, but the thingification. I'm just gonna say it like that. The thingification of women. The reduction of women as objects, objects of desire, objects of arousal, and then objects of the application of that arousal. So sex objects. So that's where there is a huge issue with this comment, and the problem here is not only on the shoulders of cis-het men who are seeking that type of interaction with women, where it's about what excites them and what they get at on the other side of that excitement. It's also that trans women tend to be eager to play into it, in at least in the first months or years of transition, um, because it looks like validation. Some people just go too far, of course, and are going to be, some trans people, some trans women are going to be forever in some type of rivalry with cis women. That's not healthy. I'm not trying to defend that, but I don't want to make it sound like or feel like that is a reality for every trans woman, because it's really not. It's really marginal, and so yeah, we're not gonna like go into that, but I do believe, now I don't have the stats for this, but I do believe that at least at some point, pretty much all trans women are eager to believe that type of stuff, or even if they don't believe it, they're eager to, they don't mind hearing it, because it's validation for at least a portion of their womanhood, right? That aspect, that desirable aspect, that you know, elegant, sexy aspect of womanhood that a lot of trans women want to achieve that, tickles a little bit of that satisfies them, right? And in the first months, first years maybe of transition, oh, this is ambrosia, baby. Um, they want to hear this. We want to hear this. I don't want to like keep myself outside of the conversation because I was also young, and at 22, when I heard that, um, I was not into the rivalry, right? Because that was ridiculous. But I was like, oh, that validates me, and it's silly. It's silly because it's playing into misogynistic ideals that hopefully we later grow to combat, as I do today. But when I was, 22, 23, and I heard that, I was like, oh, yes, I'm a woman. Like, oh my God. And not only is it ridiculous and wrong, but it's also a trap for trans women who, if we only keep that as our our validation, our source of validation, and we run the risk of limiting our own womanhood to just that, or putting too much effort into that specifically. And when womanhood is so individual and so private, and we need to exploit on our own, and not necessarily with or through a man. So, like, adhering to that point of view and allowing that to be our, our compass, that's, yeah, that would be very detrimental to our own transitions and our own growth as women. And in addition to that trap, well, actually, an extension of the trap is modified behavior, and where the trans woman, up to what point the trans woman pushes the performance as expected by this man. So what that does is trans women who find themselves in abusive relationships, where they and I don't want to use any type of psychology speak because I'm not trying to diagnose any person, and I don't have the expertise to anyway. But it's this cycle where a really toxic perception, toxic version of womanhood is pushed on a person, and that happens to cis women too, right? Let's be real about this. But I'm talking about trans women here specifically. So some trans women happen to have this view, happen to adhere to what the misogynistic men say, and perform femininity in the aesthetics that is expected of them, and perform womanhood further in the house as more little housewives, cleaning and cooking, and all of those ideas of traditional womanhood that misogynistic men particularly enjoy, and they find themselves in abusive relationships where they they become that weak person that is in line with this idea of what a woman is. And and the men in those relationships actually build their masculinity on top of that subjugation of the trans woman. And maybe I'm getting a little obscure here, but I'm going to try to be as clear as possible. So there's this general traditional idea of a woman, which is enforced in that couple's house. The trans woman becomes that ideal, so this person becomes this weak, feminine figure in the house. They perform, and what that does is, it's boosting the ego of the person who is subjugating, who is in the masculine position. And that builds their masculinity or their image of themselves as a man, which is absolutely unhealthy, because also, just as women should build their own womanhood inside themselves, alone, and maybe with their friends sometimes, men should do the same. They should discover what being a man means to them, and not construct their own masculinity or manhood by following either a specific standard, or by subjugating another being as proof that they are men. I want to say that it's ridiculous, because it is, but it's also extremely harmful, and it does absolutely it's good for no one, not even for the cis-het man who lives that fantasy that way. Yeah, so I don't really have solutions when it comes to this, because it's really me observing certain attitudes, and if you do recognize that around you, I think it's something you should address, right? I mean, of course, if you are safe to do so. And it's also, if you found yourself in any of those situations, whether you are the cis-het man who views the world that way, or you are the trans woman who finds herself in a relationship like that, or someone. I mean, it's important to look at that and look inside and be like, okay, how is this me right now, and how can I do better? Really, how can I do better? Do I need that, and why do I need that? Really, what does that mean for me? And I mean, those would be the first steps to dismantling it, because it's not healthy. It's not. It doesn't make a person feel accomplished, for themselves, because they constantly need the presence of another person who either to validate them, or another person to subjugate, in order to feel accomplished, when you should feel accomplished from what you are and what you do, and not from interactions with another person, like constant interactions with another person. So yeah, those are my thoughts, and I would love to hear yours. Please DM me, message me. You have all the links in the show notes, and yeah, I can't wait to hear from you. So before we go, I have to ask you again: share, comment, subscribe, and if you can, make a little donation. It's always appreciated. I'll talk to you real soon, y'all. Bye bye.